Welcome to ReaLAWstate with Patti and Kate. Woo, woo. We are practicing social distancing. As I said, we had a man who said he was 6 feet tall stay between us, and we had plenty of room.
Yeah.
So anyway, how are you all doing? How's everything going? We are so interested in hearing in your messages what's going on, because I feel like we've been analytical lately.
Very analytical. It's exhausting.
It's so exhausting analyzing everything and trying to process it and come up with some real hard information about what it's like out there, number one. And then number two, just trying to, put some feet behind it, and not just be like, it's fine.
Right. Maneuvering and being creative and coming up with new solutions. And it's been a lot. Like we're dodging and weaving,
Yeah, we are dodging and weaving, and we are making our way through, though.
Yeah.
I think
we are. I think we're doing awesome. But I know one of the things that we want to talk about tonight, and I think it's going to be more of me interviewing Kate today, is kind of this spring market. So, what is a spring market? Are we, with the whole COVID thing, are we in the spring market? Are we delaying the spring market? What's the repercussions of that? I think it's very interesting. So I was asking Kate earlier, I said, when does the spring market normally start? And of course, I'm thinking analytically, like, it's probably in March. And then, but you had a different answer. So what was your answer? What's a normal non-COVID spring market?
Okay, so the way that what we see as trends in a New England area where we have 4 seasons is that our spring market generally starts when the snow goes away.
Okay.
So when we had that really big storm, I think in April, a few years ago, then our spring market was delayed, right? Oh. And, the last couple of years, we have not had much snow, right?
Yeah.
Not excluding this year.
Yeah.
So our spring market, as realtors, we kind of kept waiting for things to slow down and waiting for things to slow down. Mm-hmm. And especially this year where we had no snowstorms, it was it was record highs everywhere for the amount of business and volume that happened in real estate. So we never had a winter market.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the answer to that would have been, non-COVID was we are using all of our tools that we have. We didn't have a winter market. So it's likely that we're not going to have a spring market. We're going to have more of an even Steven. And even when it is a winter market, I think a lot of times it's that we do this to us. Mm-hmm. And, Google says that the number one search for when people are looking for a house is in January, so it's not, that it has to be when the sun is out.
Yeah.
But I think that we, especially people who've been in the business a long time, we pace ourselves according to the different markets, right? Yeah. Because we want to have a strong, busy spring. Yeah. So that maybe we have some time off in the summer.
Gotcha.
Right. And then we hustle out, fall because we don't want to end up the year with just one season kind of thing.
Right.
So, but to be truthful, it is, I think that that spring market idea, from a practical standpoint is a little functionally obsolete. However, that being said, one of the things that Lawrence Yun, who I have a secret crush on,
her sexy economist.
Oh, he would die if he heard that. He's the National Association of Realtors chief economist, and he's just so smart and funny. That's what I think I like, But what he said is that the value of a spring market is really to get people in schools for the fall, right?
So people are thinking about their children.
They're thinking of their children. So when school is over, right? I will then. So if I find a house in say April or May, springtime, and I go and I sell and I move in the summer, my kids can start school in the fall, no problem.
Okay.
So that would be the other thought about spring market. Okay. Now the last, of course, is just a function of emotion. Is that our homes look so beautiful in the spring? When
those pictures you just posted on your newest listing, the blue sky.
Oh, I know, and it's just so gorgeous out, and it's warm, and so I was saying today I had an open house there today, and I just had my little face up to the sun, and I said I am so much happier in the sun.
Yeah,
and I think that
I think everybody is.
I was just gonna say I don't think I'm alone on that.
No, not at all. I know I'm definitely more motivated. Like a lot of times people When it's nice out, they don't want to be at work, they want to be outside. I feel like I am the most productive at the office when the sun is coming through the windows. You know? So I don't mind being at the office, which is so weird. And then rainy days, I'm like, I don't want to go to work.
It's like, where did my sunshine go?
Yes.
So those are some of the things that like contribute, even without COVID, to how our market goes.
Yeah. So it begs the question,
right,
what has happened to the spring market due to COVID?
Okay, so my boyfriend said, I mean, Lawrence said,
Lawrence, are you listening?
Oh God, that would not be horrifying. I'm sure he's not. He's been super busy. I've heard him on about 10 podcasts, and I've seen him on a bunch of, so he came to Mass Association of Realtors via the computer for our town hall this week.
Oh,
so
fun.
It was awesome. So what he said is that if our COVID, like let's say our state of emergency is less than 3 months, then we will have time to have our spring market in the summertime and get people in schools for September. And we'll also have till the end of the year to get the same number of home sales. So the prediction is that home sales by and large will, all things else considered equal, right? That means that the 3 months is important because people can get back to work, people can still qualify for a mortgage, people are not going into a recession or / depression, right? So he says that we would all things like with how much people want houses and what the demand is and how many houses are on the market, right? So our supply is always the key here because we don't have a lot in supply. Yeah. So he says that we should end up about the same.
Well, and then just one of the keys, I think, and I am not a sexy economist, but is, if there's not a lot of inventory, that still keeps house prices up.
Yeah. I have been practicing, Danny's like, what are you doing with all your gloves? I'm like, oh, I'm leaving them out there in the trash, right? They're in my car, right? But I mean, we are still practicing real estate, actively. And this, our office has been very busy.
Very busy.
And I see that and we're all practicing it with face masks on and gloves and booties and squirty stuff and, the whole bit. So, I mean,
the protocols in place of,
we have the best protocol in place. I have to say, like, we have the best. And
just warning people saying, okay, you want to come see our listing. Well, you have to sign off that, these things.
That you are not sick. You haven't been sick. You are following protocol, wearing all the stuff. And people are happy to sign that. Yeah. I have not had problems with that. Yeah. And I actually, for my open house today, I put that as part of the list, like, the sign in. Oh. So before they signed in, it covered all of that. It was like, I show it for everybody because I think it was pretty cool.
Good idea.
I had it all disclosed, everything disclosed at once. And their sign in, they had to sign in, with that information. So 100% it was covered.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I think, and then so thinking about our families and if they want to get their kids into a new school system, if they're moving to a different town, closings, I know this through my own office too, doing closing. It seems like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but we seem to be bumping out the time frame of signing the offer and when the closing is going to be. We used to, our goal was kind of a 45-day close, and now it seems like it's a little longer than that.
Yeah, it's about 60. Anyway, we put 60. Yeah, in the offers I've been writing up, we've been putting 60. What I can speak to on that is that the mortgage companies are busier because there's a lot of refis because of the financial incentives. Yeah. The other thing is that not everything is open at the same time. So there's a whole lot more hurdles to jump through, So even though we have paperwork in place to help and we have great support from, our state and from you attorneys and from the lenders or whatever, we still have a lot more things to do. So it's taking a little longer.
And I know through my office when we're doing title work, like getting titles back seems to be taking longer because you're just trying to do things online and then you have to make appointments in order to go into a registry or the town hall if you're in Rhode Island in order to complete your title search. So that takes longer. And so things aren't getting to the lenders fast enough. And I would imagine the same thing's happening with the appraisers and all those.
Yes. So we're putting 60 days in as a general. Now, that being said, so if we're still talking about like our apex is being able to start school, right? They can start school on a purchase and sale agreement, so they can start school and they can register for school, even if their closing's a couple weeks later. Yeah. So we still have time.
But I would even say, so if you're out there thinking about like, I want to sell, what should I be doing? And let's just say you have to be in them by August 30th. Like say you want the deed. You don't want to go to a school system with a PNS because I know that makes some people nervous. So they want to know that they have a deed in hand that can prove they own the property. So if that's the end of August, so backing that up 60 days, you're talking about the beginning of July to be under an agreement, which means if you have a house to sell, you should be starting a little bit earlier and prepping your house and doing those types of things.
So yes, so let's talk about that a little bit because, and again, I feel like you know how superstitious I am.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about anything in specifics. I want to talk generalities.
Yeah.
The days on market are still very low.
Yes.
Okay. So they were low going into the virus, into the state of emergency. They're still very low. So our days on market are still tight.
Yeah.
There's still multiple offer situations going on.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe they're not, let's just say that people wigged out and they're not looking because of the state of emergency, then they are, instead of 10 offers, they have 5 offers. You know what I mean? But they're still getting offers and I'm still trying to book appointments for my first time home buyers and I'm getting, shut down left and right. Right.
Yeah.
So that piece is still there. So it may not be as vibrant, but back to what you're talking about is, all right. And I have some sellers who have a septic system that needs to be wrangled. Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, so I don't see us being able to, and they've been painting and they've been cleaning and they've been, fixing and they've been, all that kind of stuff. And they had a whole big checklist, a lot of times, we agents give them a checklist to get the house ready. Right. Mm-hmm. So they've been working on those. And so she's like, if it gets us into July, then what does that mean? Does it mean we have to wait a year before we can sell? Which is the answer is no. Right? I know, but that's because people get scared. Yeah. And we hold on to, and this is the thing that I find is like we hold on to that most scarcity thought, emotion that we get. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to work. She's what theirs was. I said, no. We can list it and we can finish everything by the closing. Right. Yeah. Right. So
especially if you have 60 days now.
Right.
That's a little bit of a cushion there. So that's helpful.
So as I said, I think the market is still very strong, and I do think that the precautions, everybody's taking it seriously. Sellers and buyers are following instructions, and it seems to be working. I know my friend, his business, he said that, he's having multiple closings a day, so I think that's a good, but to your point, what do you think that people should be doing as far as getting themselves ready?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well, I was just telling the story before we went on, is so if you have to sell your house, I would you got more time at home, take some time to really look around. So I was just telling this story. I have this breezeway at my house and
she's pretty clean. I'm
a clean person. I like to think so. But I walk through there all the time. And there's just some things you don't see anymore. And so it happened to be today, I was in my breezeway and there's like 2 steps up into the main house. And the risers, which are white, were so dirty because it was splattered from mud from the dog coming in and out, right? Yeah. He has it on his paws and he runs in. And I never really noticed it before. And all of a sudden when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's disgusting. So if I was going into that house for the first time, really trying to check out a house, I might notice that, right? So I went and scrubbed that down. But there's going to be so many things like that.
There is. So you do have time for projects. Mm-hmm. But again, not too many people call you and say, I want to get my house on the market tomorrow anymore, right? So we have time for projects. And also, if you are thinking about selling or you're thinking about buying, do your legwork. If you had a little blip in your employment or you feel that you're vulnerable, talk to a lender. For a seller's
don't
standpoint,
stick your head in the sand.
One of the things I always say is go through the house like with a different pair of eye goggles on, and like someone always says, like sit on the toilet and look around because like your bathrooms get like just disgusting everywhere. You know what I mean? And you just get used to like where things are, go when you just watching your house, and I was thinking about that today when I was looking through my house and a couple of things, and it was, how are you cleaning things out? People are saying this is a good time to purge. Mm-hmm. Like this whole idea about being home more and being with family more and having college-age children home or whatever. Like
put them
to work, right?
Yeah.
So so I think it is a good time to clean house.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing. And then even if you think you can't see things, call the realtor, have her or him do the walkthrough because they're probably going to see things that you wouldn't know.
Right. And you should always have them do that and give them permission to say, tell me whatever you see.
Yeah.
And then listen to them.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy giving advice.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
And if you think somebody's coming in saying, oh, it's just perfect, like you have the wrong person. Like you need somebody because no house is perfect.
Right. The other thing about that is, and I was just thinking about this, is like when we're talking back to the seasons, our old winters used to be when we would bunker down, and that would be when we'd go through things, and that would be when we just did that. And then spring cleaning would come, like the first nice weekend and whatever. And so like we go through seasons naturally, and it's not natural for us in New England to not have a winter.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like a forced winter for us and a time to clean out. But what I guess what I want to say, like the most important message is we got this. Like do not be afraid. If you want to list, then yes, you can still be afraid, but we will walk you through your fear and we will give you hard ways to do it. And again, if you want to buy, don't talk yourself out of something without talking to a lender, because they know more than we know, right? And they know what they're doing. I had a woman who lost her job and they stopped looking for a bit, right? And then the lender said, well, your husband qualifies without you. Yeah. So it's like, so then you can keep moving forward.
Right.
This job's steady Eddie, So we just fill ourselves with fear. And so
it's the stories we tell ourselves.
That's the stories we tell ourselves. And we don't want to tell other people what's going on in our heads. Yeah. Because we're like, oh, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think whatever. But if you are a person who wants to sell, and you are homebound more than that, then give yourself something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And even if you end up not selling, you'll have a nice, shiny, clean house, new painted walls.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
And if you're somebody who's nervous about having people come in your house, I think all the agents, like everybody's been doing these virtual open houses, so it limits the amount of people.
Did you guys see my bomb virtual open house that Patti did for me yesterday? If you don't, you got to go scroll down. It is awesome. And so for us, we had two. So we did the Matterport 3D video. So that's your first showing. Yeah. Second showing is the tour that she brought it through. So when the people came in, they already knew it was everywhere. You know what I mean? Like they knew that house before I showed it to them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they already had that emotional connection to it.
That's cool. That's awesome. And then that way too, you have less people coming in, because if you look at the Matterport and the virtual open house and you're like, oh no, that's just not for me. Like that's one less person coming through, like in person in this COVID time. And
how are you, Miss Lawyer Face? How are you enjoying this all?
I tell you, I feel better this week. Like last week, I think I really hit a low. I think a lot of people, the reality is it's hard, right? Because there's so much information being thrown at you all the time.
Yes.
Whether it's the news, the newspaper, it's social media, it's different seminars like in your industry. So like the legal industry is always sending us new updates, and then the realtor industry is sending you new updates, and then the government, like the state, and then the federal. There's just so much. It's mentally exhausting. Yes. And I think last week I really, in all honesty, I hit a wall. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I had to make an intentional decision to unplug from social media for the weekend and just not watch news, I stopped watching news.
Distance it. I have stopped watching news. I check in and I find out what's going on every day, but I am not watching news, and I will not even watch it when it's on. I'll walk out of the room. Because, I do not need to hear that crap anymore. No. And
you just need to, like, there's a certain amount of self-care that you have to do as well. Yes. Like, you have to take care of yourself mentally, not just physically, but mentally. Be able to check out, have some kind of normalcy in your life, right? Yeah. And, whether it's cleaning your house or cutting your lawn or something.
Bike ride.
Any kind of normalcy that you can just, like, decompress and just take a breath. And take a break, and then let yourself recharge and go back at it again. And I think it was just 3 weeks of solid information being thrown at me, and I wasn't doing,
Yeah, well, and for me, I went through like the stages of grief. Like because there was a potential exposure at the beginning. So I self-quarantined for 2 weeks, and I wouldn't come in here. Like, this is the office. I wouldn't, I isolated. Yeah. And it's called pre-traumatic stress disorder. Right. So, but after that passed, and after like things started to fall in place, and the systems and the social distancing actually took hold, and people were doing it, and I felt better, and then I felt grateful. Like Easter week, I was like so grateful for everything. And I got to be honest, this week everybody was on my nerves. Yeah. So I'm ready for to open those doors and get moving on. Now that, I don't know what's next. I guess next is acceptance of whatever that means. But, you're just going to feel the feelings, you know, and,
and don't beat yourself up over it. Like, I think we're all doing our best. Like, nobody has the perfect answer. There are some people out there who think they have the perfect answer, but nobody has a perfect answer right now, right? Yeah. And we're all just trying to do our best to keep ourselves safe, our families safe, and our friends safe, right? And everybody's got their own little bubble. And you're not going to get perfect all the time. You might go to the store and you forgot your mask, or I don't know, whatever. Just keep trying to do your best. We're all doing our best. We've never been through this before. Do your best.
And, and last week when we went for our little, we went into a little parade with our van, and we decorated it up as an Easter bunny and with a mask on. And, and it was silly and it was fun. And, we were following social distancing, but it was just a fun thing to do. And it was like, and just seeing the cute little faces and people throwing us kisses, we've got to, I don't know, I wanted to bring out the best in us, and I think that it can. And then I'm going to loop this back to real estate, is I have always been a big relationship person, and this has just been a really good time to just, deepen those relationships, especially that week I was grateful. Yeah. Not that we get people on my nerves. So that's what I think. One of our goals has always been to take the stress out of a home sale. Yeah. And, having the attorney, the legal aspect to all of these things, and have a person, just has been invaluable. So thank you. I don't know that we thank you enough for that.
I think we all busted on this one.
We did bust on this one.
We did bust on this one because I want to make sure the legal side was it, but you guys had to make sure, as a practical matter, what does a walkthrough look like? What can we do? We did. It was those two minds coming together, which is
which is what the ReaLAWstate.
It really is.
So cool. Okay, let's see who we have to say hi to here. Carrie Humphreys says hi, and he's giving us a great big smiley face.
Oh, this little COVID
Carrie.
mask.
Oh, okay. Those look like teeth to me, and then I set my glasses on.
Really happy.
Oh, gosh.
That's awesome.
All righty, guys. Well, listen, we will keep on plugging, and we'll see you next week for ReaLAWstate with Patti and Kate. If there's any questions or anything that we can help you with, we are a safe place to ask questions.
Absolutely.
And if it's a private one, we will answer you privately as well, okay? So we won't shamelessly exploit it for our next topic next week. Like my little boyfriend, Lawrence.
All right, Lawrence.
So we'll see you.